This problem is one of the easier types of problems that you may see on an AP exam. And it reads, if f of x equals 4x raised to the 3/2 power, then f prime of 9 equals, and we're to find out and answer that question, what is f prime of 9? Before we do this problem, maybe we should review a little bit some of the rules of differentiation. And so if I told you that f of x is equal to a constant c times x, and then I asked you what is the derivative of that, what's f prime of x, well, you'd be thinking, well, that's just nothing but the constant c, and you would be correct. A second rule, if I told you that f of x is equal to x raised to the n power, and then asked you what is the derivative of f, what is f prime of x, and then this is another common one. You could tell me that then this is equal to that n, that constant n, times x raised to the n minus 1 power. And this one has a common name, and you probably know what it is. What is the name of this rule? It's the power rule. And then if we put both of those two rules together, and if I wrote out f of x is equal to c times x raised to the n power, and asked you what is f prime of x, I don't think you'd have any problem telling me that it is c times n times x raised to the n minus 1 power. And if you look back at our problem, that's essentially the differentiation that we need to do here. So what is our first step? Step number 1 is to just go ahead and differentiate. Differentiate. So let's do that. So what is the derivative of our function? So f prime of x is equal to, and from what we've just reviewed, you would tell me, well, it's just equal to that constant 4, and then times, you take the 3/2 and multiply it times x, and then decrement that 3/2 by 1. Now this is probably the most difficult part of this problem, that now you get to deal with fractions, which everybody loves. And so we have 3/2 take away 1, and what does 1 need to be before we can do the subtraction? And you're remembering back, and you're probably saying, well, we need to have a common denominator, and 1 would be written as 2 over 2. And so let's do that. Let's write it as 3/2 minus 2/2. And then what does that simplify down to? So you're thinking, well, 4 times 3 is 12, and then divided by 2 we get 6 for the constant that's out in front, and x then is going to be raised to the, and what is 3/2 minus 2/2? That's just the 1/2 power. So the first step is over with, and now the second step, what do we do in the second step? We just plug in. So the second step is to just plug in. And plug in what? Well, we want to plug in 9 in place of x, so we'll write f prime of, and then instead of x we'll put f prime of 9 equals 6, and then times what? Well, we're replacing x with 9, so we put a 9 in its place and raise that to the 1/2 power. Okay, what's another way we could write 9 to the 1/2 power using a radical instead of an rational exponent? And you're probably thinking, well, we could write that whole part there again as 6 times radical 9. That means the same thing as 6 times 9 to the 1/2 power. And then if we simplify that, what do we get? 6 times 3, and 6 times 3 equals 18. And our answer is 18. This is probably a problem that would be in the multiple choice section of the AP exam, and so you would just look through the answers and find the 18 in there and bubble in the corresponding letter. That's it for this problem.